everyone, welcome back. Today I would like to discuss the topic with you is how can we learn to trust God? I think for me this was really something that I had to learn that if I would fall, I would not fall because there was a God behind me who would catch me. Um, and every season in my life, I have like a different favorite Bible verse that really give me strength. For this time, I have my favorite Bible verses, Corinthians 2, verse 5 to 7, that we live by faith, not by sight. So this Bible verse is so powerful. I could talk for 1 hour just about this Bible verse because I think if we really understand what this Bible verse is saying, is that it will really blow our minds because it says that we cannot just believe by what we see, but we have to live. We have to live by our faith. It's like I don't see anything, but I know. It's like what I always say to myself, like I don't see anything, but I know God, and I know He's working behind the scenes for my favor. So you have to know that we serve one God. God is very good. He is not a mean God. He is not he is not a lazy God. No, God's one job is to get all of us to heaven. That's His main job. He only wants that for us. Um, to be holy on this earth and to get to heaven. But because He wants us, because God has two missions. He has a mission to get us to heaven. Uh, First off, for us to be holy and to get to heaven. So because God has two missions, so everything that we ask for, God is always thinking like these things that she is asking for is gonna help. Is this gonna help her with my mission to make her holy and to get into heaven? So maybe you are asking things or that are just not good for your soul. So that's why maybe God is not giving you, because God is thinking about the long term. And I also want to give you an example. Like a couple of years ago, I was in a train and I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I'm very tired, and in 2 hours I am home. But can you please make something for me to eat because I'm really hungry?" And then when I finally get home, I was looking for my mom and she was in the kitchen. But when I came in the kitchen, I saw no pans on the stove. So I almost got a little bit angry. I was like, I want to say, didn't you listen to me? Didn't I tell you that I was really hungry? And it's like you just don't care. But before I could speak, my mom, she would walk to the oven and she took the food. She took the food out of the oven. But because my mom knew if she would maybe leave the food on the stove, that maybe it would get cold. So maybe God is like with God. Maybe God does some things to hide from us because He knows maybe you are not ready, or maybe this person is ready. So like my mom, she knew it was better for me to have a plate of warm food. Um, um, than for me to come in and to see everything. Um, that was not necessary. So it's with God. God want. So my mom wanted me to have the food warm, but God also wants you to have your things when it's still when you are ready for it. Um, but maybe you think you are ready for it, but you don't see the whole picture, and that's why we have to trust God. That's why we have to trust God. And maybe you can say, you know what, God, I think I am ready, but show me if I'm not ready and give me the patience to wait. Like last Sunday, my priest in the sermon, he said something very beautiful. He said we could ask God to give us strength to wait because of and I thought this was so beautiful. I just had to write it down. Um, because of course it's hard. Sometimes we are waiting, and life can be really hard. I understand, but we have to know that we are waiting. That we are not waiting for just somebody. We are waiting for God, and God is somebody who not just sitting around. I told you before, you have two missions: to make you holy and to get you into heaven, so you can trust Him. But we also need to do our part. We also can help God. And how can we help God? This is very interesting, because Mother Teresa always says, like, I do my best and God will do the rest. But how can you do your best? You can do your best by staying close to God. Stay close to God. Never let the hand go of God. Never. And it's like, if we are planting a seed, uh, we can do two things. We can go and buy the seed. We can put it in the ground, and we can water it. But one thing that we cannot do, we cannot bring the sun. Only God can bring the sun. So sometimes we need to be humble, and we need to say, like, God, I will do my best, but I know some things I cannot do. Sometimes some things I cannot do, and it's very good that you cannot bring the sun, because maybe if you will bring the sun, then maybe you will put too much sun on the plant, and it would die. But God knows exactly what it needs. But if you, but our job is to buy the seed and to put water in it. But and then to let the plant grow on His time. But so we have to trust God. So we have to trust God that God will bring the sun. So we have to let it go. We have to let it go. But if we cannot let it go, and we go to and we go every day to check out this plant, then of course it's not growing, because we cannot see it, because we are so focused on this plant that has to grow, that maybe in your mind they have to grow like maybe 10 or 5 inches for you to really see it. So that's why it's really important to remind ourselves daily, to read the Bible daily, and to remind ourselves we believe by faith, not by what we see. And maybe you say, you know what, this plant is not growing. I'm going to take out the plant. I'm going to look on the ground. But no, then you're going to mess up God's plan. Then you're going to mess it up. Because if the plant is going, it's going naturally. So don't worry. Don't worry, and just let go and let God. And of course, it's always easier said than done. But I think there needs to be a point in our life that we say, you know what, I want this, but let me ask if God wants this. Maybe you are praying for something for years, and you are so stuck in your mind that you need this to be happy, or that, but you know what? Go to adoration and say, God, this is what I want. But you know what, God, I forgot. I really wanted this, but that's why I forgot to ask you. Do you want this for me? Do you see this thing what I want? Is this thing going to help you by your mission? And what is this in the mission of God? God's mission is to make you holy and to get you to heaven. So ask God, is this thing what I want? It's going to help you by your mission? Because we need to be in a team with God. We need to help God. So say, God, if this thing what I want is going to help you, or is this going to make it more difficult for you to make me holy, or to get me to heaven? So what is very important, to stay in contact with God. So that's why I say, talk to God, like pray with God, but talk to God through the whole day. Like, God, I have something in my heart, but I don't know it's from you. If it's from you, God, I'm going to do it, but give me the wisdom. But if it's not for you, God, help me to let it go. And God, help me to trust you, God, because we have to know that God is in control of our life. It's like we can maybe plan something, but ultimately it's God who is in control of our life. So that's why it will make everything so much easier if you would just let it go and just let God. And you be faithful in what you can do. Like what you can do is you can go to church, you can fast, you can pray the rosary, uh, you can have your prayer time, when nobody's watching. I want, like, God is always working when nobody's watching, but I want you to do the same. I want you to do the same as what God is doing, because we are children of God and we need to look like God. So do the same thing when God is not watching. So when you are home now, just stop watching television and just start praying more. Start praying more. Start to give your life more to God. Like you say, you know what? I watch 2 or 3 hours of television. From today, I'm gonna watch 1 hour of television, and I'm gonna start to pray more. I'm gonna read more books that can help me grow in my faith. But we have to change something. If we cannot only want everything from God and we live just our life like blah 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 blah. No, if we want great and big things from God, who is God, then we also need to change. Because God needs to know that the things that we want, or the things that we desire, that God can trust us. We also need to live a disciplined Christian life. And a disciplined Christian life is we need to be like the church need to be our home. We cannot do nothing without our home. And so that's why the more time you spend with God, the better you get to know Him. So and if we don't spend so much time with God, then we cannot. Then if God is talking to us, we don't know if there's God, that is the devil, whose voice is it? But the more time we spend with God, we get to know Him. We get to know His ways. So don't be scared if you're living now in isolation. If you want to really change, then put yourself a little bit in isolation. It's just you and God, so He can do the work in you. So maybe you so don't be scared if it's just you and God, because you are with somebody who loves you the most. I always have to think like sometimes I babysit a little girl from 6 years, and always when she say my name, because she's 6 years, so she's a lot smaller than me, I always make myself smaller. So when she talks to me, that we are face to face, then I always think about God. Like, God is so big, so powerful. He is God, but you have to know, if you call His name, if you say God, Jesus, or if you call His name, then God is gonna come to our level. Like how I come to the level of this beautiful 6-year-old girl, because I want her to feel safe with me, and I want her to know that I'm listening to her. But God is the same thing with us, because God is our Father, and so He will do anything to come to our level and to sit with us. So try to trust Him, and trusting God is like a process, not something like we ask for today and tomorrow we trust Him. No, every day we wake up and say, God, this is something that I have to learn. I have to learn you, to trust you the whole process. I have to know that I don't see anything, but I have to know that you are working for me, and I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna go to my work. Maybe it's a very boring day, but I'm gonna do it very good, because I know I work for you. I don't work for my boss. I don't work for the government. I work for you. I work for the kingdom of God. So. And we also have to believe what God says. If God says in the Bible that we are His children, then you have to believe that you are a child of God, and you have to believe that you can trust Him, because He is your Father, and He's gonna carry you. He's gonna carry you. If you cannot walk, He's not gonna let you walk. He's gonna carry you. So I hope my words can encourage you to trust God more with your life, and to maybe let go of the things that you are maybe holding on to. Because if you are holding on to things, things, then you are holding on to it. But if you let it go, and if you give it to God, then you have empty hands, and God can fill your empty hands. But if you have your hands so hold on to it, God cannot put anything in your hands, because your hands are already full. So maybe let go of the things that you want, and give your empty hands to God, so God can fill them. So okay, my dear brothers and sisters, I will see you. I will see you next time. Take care of yourself and be kind to yourself, and pick up the Bible, and yes, and we see each other soon.